One of the most common questions that I get asked is, what camera should I buy? Or what's the best camera for someone looking to get into video and photo on a budget? Most, if not all the time, I recommend them with the same camera that I've been shooting with for the past 3 years, the Sony A6400. The Sony A6400 was released back in 2019 and offers quite a lot for its price point. The A6400 is an APS-C censored mirrorless camera, but don't let that fool you. In my opinion, mirrorless cameras are the future. They typically have smaller, more compact body sizes and still offer better image quality than most DSLRs nowadays, so it's pretty much a win-win. One of the main reasons I find this camera to be such a good recommendation for most people starting out is simply the fact that it's not a full-frame camera. The APSC Ecosystem is an easy money saver as you don't have to spend $1,000 on every single lens that you buy. Excluding the kit lens that came with this camera, I currently have 3 other lenses that I use, and in total they only costed me about $1,500. Now that might sound like quite a lot of money to you, but when you do realize that one full-frame camera lens can easily run you upwards of about $2,000, you'll quickly realize how wallet-friendly crop sensor cameras can be. Now to quickly dive into some of these specs, the Sony A6400 is capable of shooting up to 4K 30fps video as well as 24 megapixel photos. It is also capable of shooting in 1080p at 60 fps as well as 120 fps, so you're covered there in terms of slow motion and B-roll. This camera also features Sony's lightning fast autofocus as well as video features such as focus peaking and zebras. One of the only cons that I've come across while using this camera is that the battery life isn't that great. It's not the worst by any means. I've used this camera many times out in the field on many shoots and I've been perfectly fine with the 2 to 4 batteries that I own. One thing that the Sony A6400 has that's quite useful in situations like this, for example, is a flip-up LCD screen. Although, once you get this camera in your hands, you'll notice that the placement of the hot shoe relative to the flip-up LCD screen can make things a little bit messy. If you want to use an external microphone with the flip-up LCD screen, you'll quickly run into a bit of trouble as you'll find that the mic blocks off a good portion of the screen. Though this problem was pretty cheap and easy for me to fix, as I recently bought a cage for the A6400 by a company called SmallRig, and that allows me to attach my microphone in different areas around the camera that don't block the LCD screen. On a similar note, for those interested in vlogging, it should be noted that this camera does not come with any in-body image stabilization. You could, however, opt in for the Sony A6600, which does come with IBIS, although that's going to run you an extra $500+. Personally, for me, the jump in price is not justifiable. I'd rather spend my money on a gimbal if image stabilization was something that I really did prioritize, and even then, using lenses that have IBIS is decent enough. Regardless, this camera will still be a solid, reliable tool for anyone looking to get into both photo and video. Now, on the Sony Canadian website, this camera is currently up for about $1,200 Canadian dollars. Although it shouldn't be too hard to find this camera in stores, oftentimes it being sold with a kit lens for a discounted price. And if all that still hasn't convinced you to look more into the Sony A6400, or if the price is still a little bit out of your budget, then I have one more tip for you, and that's to buy used. The used camera market isn't too bad at the moment. I'm sure if you shopped on websites like Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji and did a little bit of digging, you could find this camera up for cheap, and it might even come with a lens or two. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you're able to get something out of this video. And if you like this type of content, feel free to stick around as I'm probably going to post some more videos in the near future. And yeah, hopefully no one has to ask me this question ever again. Take care.